Hi everyone, this is Helloangel.design. Today I'm going to show you how to make a very beautiful two-layer ruffled skirt. It has elastic at the waistband, and this is how it is once you have done making. So you can decide to attach a lace at the bottom edge. This is optional, you don't have to. This is how it finally look once you have done making your own skirt. It's for 2 to 3 years, even 4 years old can put it on. If you make this kind of skirt, don't forget to tag us on Instagram at Helloangel.design, tag us on Facebook and Helloangel.design. If my tutorial has been helpful, don't forget to thumbs up. Make a comment down below if you have any question. All the measurement that you need, I will put it on the description box below. And let's get started. What you need when you're making your two-layer ruffled skirt, you need your fabric, your elastic, your matching thread, your scissors. If you have anything to design the bottom edge, if it's a lace or a zigzag design, just go ahead and grab one. So this is what I'm using, is a multicolor. So I really love the way the color looks, so I'm going to use it to design the bottom edge of this skirt that we are making today. First thing that you have to do, you're going to take a measurement of your fabric. I am using African wask fabric. You can use any fabric of your choice. I have 4 pieces right here, one for the band and one for the boat skirt. So what you're going to do, you take your measuring tape. The length that I have here is 12 centimeter by 37 centimeter. 12 centimeter by length, 37 centimeter by width. If you're using inches, measure 4.75 inches and 14.5 inches. That is 14.5 inches. You're going to cut 4 pieces. And for the ruffle, we're also going to cut 4 pieces. The length is 20 centimeter. The width is 68.5 centimeter. If you're using inches, measure 7.75 inch and the width is 27 inches. I will also put the measurement on my description box so that you can know the inches and the centimeter that you're going to cut. So let's put the skirt together. First thing that you have to do, you're going to put your fabric together. So this is the smaller pieces. I'm just going to join the both sides seam together. Make sure both front of your fabric are facing each other. Just go ahead and pin the both sides seam. Take it to your sewing machine. Give it a top stitch. My seam allowance is 1 centimeter. Once you have done stitching, take your ruffle pieces fabric. You're going to put the both sides seam together. Make sure both front fabric are facing each other. Go ahead and top stitch. And you also repeat the same process with your second fabric. Go ahead and stitch the both sides seam together. Overlock it with your overlocker sewing machine or use zigzag to overlock the raw edges. So go ahead and top stitch. I have stitched the side seam of my skirt. This is how it is. And I overlock it with zigzag stitches. This is how it looks. And I also go ahead and overlock the bottom edge with zigzag stitches. This is how it finally looks right now. The next thing that we have to do, we are going to stitch our lace or whatever lace that you have. You just place it on the bottom edge of your skirt. I will just put a few pins to show how you can stitch that in place. Once you have done pinning around the bottom edge of your skirt, take it to your sewing machine, give it a top stitch all around. Once you have done that, then turn your fabric like this. Then you go ahead and give it a top stitch all over again. Instead of just placing the lace like this on your fabric, so instead of placing it like this on your fabric, I prefer you place it like this. It's more better. You just place it like this and you top stitch, and then you turn it over, and then you give it a top stitch all over again, and you will repeat the same process on your second fabric. So go ahead and top stitch. I have top stitch. This is how it finally look. This is how the inside look, and this is the front of the skirt. This is how it will look, and I also repeat the same process on my second skirt. This is how it will look. The next thing that you have to do, you're going to set your sewing machine to the longest stitch, because we are going to gather this fabric and we are going to gather this fabric. So go ahead, take your fabric to your sewing machine, go ahead and stitch it all around, and you repeat the same process on this second fabric. Then we cannot gather the skirt on these little pieces of fabric. So go ahead and top stitch. I have stitched my gather stitch thread. This is how it is. The next thing that we have to do, we are going to gather this fabric on this one. So what you're going to do, you put them together, make sure both sides seam are matched. Just put them together like this. Go ahead and pin that in place, and then you come to this side, you do the same thing. So what you're going to do, you're going to gather this side of the fabric on this piece side of this other fabric. You gather this side of the fabric on this other side of the fabric. I have pinned it all around. The next thing that you have to do, take it to your sewing machine, give it a top stitch all around. My seam allowance is 1 centimeter. So go ahead and stitch that in place. I have stitched my skirt in place. This is how it is, and I just use my zigzag stitches to overlock the raw edges. This is how it look right now. The next thing that we have to do, we are going to put the second layer fabric on this skirt. So we are going to attach it at the top of the skirt. So what you're going to do, you just take your skirt, slice it inside like that, put the both sides seam together like this, go ahead and pin that in place, and then you come to the other side, you do the same thing, put the side seam together, pin that in place. Once you have done pinning, I will just use my thread to secure this pin, because when I start pulling, I don't want it to just keep pulling and it's not gathering. So I will secure it like this. So once you have pinned it like this, this is how it look right now. You can see how that is. This is how it look, and this is the other side. I'm going to gather this side on this side of the fabric, and then I will gather this other side on this other side. I have gathered my skirt and I have pinned it all around. This is how it look. This is how it look right now. This is the first layer and this is the second layer. So what you're going to do, take it to your sewing machine, give it a top stitch all around. Once you have done that, remove your gather stitch thread. So go ahead and top stitch. I have stitched my skirt. This is how it finally look. This is how it is right now. This is my skirt band. So I just take it to my ironing board. I fold it into two so that I know that both fabric are equal, and I fold inside 1 centimeter. When I'm done stitching, this is the 1 centimeter I'm going to use to cover the raw edges. So what you're going to do, place your skirt like this. You take your band, both sides seam, put them together, just go ahead and pin that in place. So when you're pinning, make sure front fabric are facing each other. So I will just pull my skirt like this. And then I'll pick the other side seam and my side seam band, and I will put them together and pin that in place. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to pin the skirt on the band. So go ahead and do the same. I have pinned the band around the skirt. The next thing that you have to do, take it to your sewing machine, give it a top stitch all around. My seam allowance is 1 centimeter. So go ahead and top stitch. I have stitched it all around. This is how it is. The next thing that you have to do, turn your band skirt like this, and then you use this 1 centimeter to cover the raw edges inside. Just fold it on top of it like this. Go ahead and pin around the skirt waistline. I have pinned it all around. This is how it is. The next thing that you have to do, take it to your sewing machine, give it a top stitch all around. Remember to leave a gap so that you can put your elastic. So you can see that I put 2 pins right here. This pin, I will start from the blue pin and go ahead and stitch, and then I will end on this other side. So go ahead and stitch. So when I'm going to stitch the band on the skirt, I'm going to be stitching from the front of the skirt, not inside. From the front, I will place it on my sewing machine and I will stitch it all around. So go ahead and stitch that in place. I have stitched my band on the skirt. This is how it looks right now. The next thing that you have to do is to put your elastic inside. The length of my elastic is 47 centimeter. If you're using inches, measure 18.5 inches. So you just put it inside and move it all around. I have put my elastic. The next thing that you have to do, put them together like this. Pin that in place. Just go ahead and give it a top stitch. Once you have done that, push your elastic inside and stitch the open gap. So go ahead and top stitch.